What's up, everybody? Superworks fan here from Mustang Weekly Update number 40 on this Friday. So, 40 weekly updates already, and back in the Mustang. It feels good to be back in this car. No press cars lined up for the next few weeks at least, so going to be daily driving this, and I'm excited. I'm also going to be doing a quick little day trip this weekend on Saturday to review two cars that I'm very excited about. One car is really one of the sickest cars on the market right now, and very excited to hopefully review that as long as everything goes as planned. And the other car is a car I've been wanting to review for a long time, and not just review but drive. I've never driven one of these, and I am extremely excited about it as well. So two huge awesome car reviews. I'm starting to develop a little bit of a backlog, so you know, the stuff that you're seeing, if you follow me on Instagram and stuff, you're up to date with everything. The Cadillac CTS V Sport is going to be going live next week, and the Chevy SS that I just actually returned to Chevrolet today, that'll be going up the week after next. So thank you for everyone that's supportive on the Chrysler 200 review as well. I know it's not, you know, normally what I do, you know, those ordinary family sedans, but I appreciate your support nonetheless. And you know, these first few slower cars from Fiat Chrysler Group are hopefully you know, putting in my dues to eventually work up to the more exciting stuff that they have in their lineup. So just bear with me, and like I said, the rest of this year I got all kinds of sweet stuff lined up to review. I got another review I'm filming next week as well, so I'm gonna have, after next week, I'll have reviews lined up until like the middle of October, which is awesome. If I can find time to edit too, I will try and do 2 a week just to kind of cut down on that backlog a little bit, because I am excited to put the videos out. So we'll see what happens with all that, but time for a quick pass. One thing that I noticed, it's been so long since I've actually been driving this car a lot, and it's just so punchy. I mean, even I just got out of the Chevrolet SS with the V8, and this still just feels so punchy down low because of that turbo, and it's just, it's quicker than I remembered. This car still surprises me, and I love it. So anyway, I'm really excited to drive it. Funny thing though, little story time here real quick. Try and keep this brief, but I changed my own oil for the first time yesterday, and there will be a video hopefully this weekend or next week posted of me showing how to change my own oil. It's a video many of you were requesting, and I wanted to do it, and so I actually was able to work out a partnership with Pennzoil on that video, and so that's very cool. And so you'll be seeing that whole thing, like I said, either this weekend or next week. But anyway, change my own oil, first time ever. You might think that's like totally gets rid of all my credibility because I've never changed my own oil before, but I always worked at car dealerships, and you know, for the 5 years or so that I owned my Legacy GT, they always changed my oil for me. But I just bought oil, I bought Pennzoil, and always just had them change it for me. And so why change your own oil whenever someone else will do it for free? So that was cool. And then, you know, with the BRZ and the Mini, I just took it to the dealership, honestly, because I was just kind of lazy. But now that I finally have my own garage, my own driveway, my own space to work in and stuff like that, I wanted to give it a try and do it on my own anyway, especially since my mixed results with the dealership that I've been working with here in the past. So I kind of wanted to try and do it on my own, and it was an adventure. It was a long process. It's funny, anytime I like work on my car on my own, it always turns into an enormous headache. And that's why I don't work on my own cars that often, because I mean, I've turned a wrench, you know, a fair amount of times, that I'm not a total noob at this stuff, but every single time something awful goes wrong. And so what happened yesterday when I was trying to change my own oil was that because I took it to the dealership ever since I bought this car, I took it to the dealership to get the oil changed. They must super tighten down all the bolts. They must use impact guns or something. I don't know what they use, but needless to say, I got under the car, got everything all set up. I had my camera under there, so it was even more tight quarters than normal. I could not budge the drain bolt for the oil pan, and it was not coming off. I swear to you guys, I spent all afternoon under that car just trying all kinds of different things. I started the car up and warmed it up for a while to try and, rough start. I still got to get used to this clutch again. Just to try and, you know, loosen it up. So I actually got the car up to operating temperature and then turned it off, let it cool for a few minutes, and then, you know, tried to brake it that way. I thought maybe the heat would help. It did not. I tried, you know, different breaker bars. I tried all kinds of stuff. Nothing was working. And it literally was hours. It was ridiculous. I mean, my back and butt still hurt from laying on the ground all afternoon, just pulling and pulling. My shoulders hurt. I mean, I'm not a bodybuilder, but you know, I feel like I should have enough muscle to turn a bolt for a, you know, oil pan, but I could not get it. Finally, like early in the evening, I finally was able, I literally hung off of it like monkey bars, like pulling with both hands, and the sucker finally budged. But man, it took forever. Huge pain in the butt. Hopefully now that I've tightened it up myself, this next time it'll be a whole lot easier to change my oil the next time I have to do it. But then on top of that, also the oil filter was on more than hand tight, which required me to make my third trip of the day to Advanced Auto Parts to try and buy more tools to help. And this time I bought an oil filter tool that you can attach to a wrench, and was able to get it off very easily after that. But like I said, you know, I'll be doing a video explaining how to do everything, but needless to say, for the next time around, you know, I made it nice and hand tight, but didn't over tighten anything, so it'll hopefully be easier the next time I try and change my own oil. Otherwise, I'm just gonna pack it up, take it straight to the dealership, and say I give up. But yeah, so that was an interesting little adventure yesterday, and an enormous waste of an entire day. But it is what it is. At least now I can say I've changed my own oil, and was able to do the video for you guys, and and it made for a funny little adventure thing to talk about here for the weekly update. So yeah, but that's it as far as the Mustang goes. You know, I just passed 19,000 miles here in the past couple of weeks that I've been hardly driving it. So we're at 19,000, and after this weekend, we'll probably be, I'd say, fairly close to 20,000. So, but I'm excited, like I said, just to be daily driving this car again. But anyway, I'll send it back to me at the news desk for this week's news. Right, for this week's news, the first thing is the new Honda Civic. Many of you have been asking about this. A lot of you are very interested in it. And it was just reported that the 2016 Honda Civic sedan is going to be debuted on September 16th. So the Frankfurt Motor Show in Germany is going on from the 14th to the 15th for the press days. So they're going to sidestep all that and debut the car in Los Angeles and Detroit on the 16th. It's just going to be the sedan version. They said that they may talk about some stuff relating to the chassis and whatnot, but they're not going to discuss engines. We already know it's going to have, you know, turbocharged 4-cylinder here going forward, and a few of their other goals, and we know kind of what it's going to look like from the patent drawings that we've already seen. But we're going to see the sedan version September 16th. They said the Coupe, the SI, and the Type R are going to come later on down the road. Those will come at different times later on down the road. You know, the Coupe may come sooner, but I've heard that these are supposed to be arriving late fall. So, I mean, this should be a pretty quick timetable here, and this should all happen very quickly. Right, and so there's lots of Fiat Chrysler news this week. The first thing, though, is the Hellcats, which I've been talking about the past couple of weeks here. We at least know that they're going to be around for this next model year, 2016, and we know that it's going to be nicer for 2016. It's going to have a standard navigation and nicer Laguna leather seats, and so it makes sense that now the report this week is that they're going to be getting a price hike. So the Hellcat is reported to, the Challenger version is going to go up by $4,200, and then the Charger is going to go up by $3,650. So again, you get all that nicer equipment, which was already like a $2,500 package anyway, in this price hike included. So it's really not as large of a price hike as it may seem, and you're still able to get one for, you know, like $65,000, which is a bargain. They could make it 70. I think you could make it 80 grand. People would still buy these, but yeah, so cool to see that. The big news, though, was there's this big dealers convention where all of the future FCA products that they're going to be coming out in the next 12 to 24 months were shown to dealers in Las Vegas. And there's all kinds of good news here, guys. So, first stuff, I'll just go through. They have it listed here. Chrysler, they're going to have a new Dodge Durango-sized SUV with stow-and-go seating, which might be a return to the Chrysler Aspen. Meh. They also said they're going to have a plug-in version of the Town & Country, which is meh again. But here's the good stuff. Dodge. Now, they're going to be doing a fully redesigned Charger. Now, it'll be completely new from the ground up. It's going to be based on the Alfa Romeo Giulia platform, they say here. And they said that people are saying that it's going to draw inspiration from the 1999 Charger concept car, which will be interesting to see how that plays out. But they're saying that, you know, they said that every car that they were showing in Vegas here is going to be out within the next 24 months or sooner. So we're talking 2 years away. It's going to probably end up being, you know, like a 2018 model coming out in mid-2017 for the new Charger, so that's awesome. Other stuff is that there's going to be 2 new Challenger models, and believe it or not, contrary to last week whenever we were hearing that they might be killing them off, at least here for the next 24 months, the powerful versions of the Challenger are going to be around, and they're going to be kicking major butt. So they're going to have a new Challenger, reportedly called the ADR version, which stands for American Drag Racer, and they're also going to have a TA model, which is the track kind of version. Now the ADR, they said, is going to be more powerful than the Hellcat. Crazy. But it's going to be basically a stripped out race car version, but that'll be available, and the TA is going to be, you know, the track prep kind of version, but it'll still be a car that you can drive on the streets. So, good news for the Challenger there. The cool thing is we've been hearing for probably the past 10 years rumors of the return of the Barracuda. And they said that they're going to be bringing back the Barracuda under the Dodge nameplate, because of course it was the Plymouth Barracuda back in the 70s, but we'll be getting it as a Dodge here in the next 24 months. So that's awesome. The other good juicy bits about this is that they're saying that it's going to be available in a coupe and convertible, and they're saying that it's going to feature modern styling, so it's not going to be a retro car. This is going to be an all-new modern vehicle. They also are saying that it's going to be small, so it's going to be a smaller car than the Challenger, and it's going to probably maybe even target stuff like the BRZ, or at very least maybe stuff like you know, some of the cheaper Mustangs and whatnot. I'm not sure if that's going to get a V8. I have a suspicion that this Barracuda is going to kind of lead the charge for the more smaller turbocharged sports cars from Dodge and Fiat Chrysler, and so it could be the little baby brother to the Challenger, and that's awesome though. So very sweet to see that. Also, apparently at this convention, they announced a Dodge Durango SRT. And they said it's going to have a 6.4-liter Hemi V8 and rear-wheel drive in an SUV, Dodge Durango, which is awesome. They also are saying that it's going to be shown in this very sweet blue color. Other stuff. Now, a lot of you have been asking about a Dodge Dart SRT4, which was originally in the 5-year plan for FCA. What we're hearing now this is just from insiders. This is just kind of take this with a grain of salt. But what they're saying is that there are no plans for an SRT-specific model. But they're going to have a 300 horsepower Hurricane 4-cylinder, they're calling it, that apparently they said is going to be thrown in all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be a really powerful engine, you know, a little 4-cylinder, 300 horsepower, and it's going to be one heck of a motor, and that is what they're going to be putting in the Dart. Now, they said it's going to be available in several trim levels of the Dart. So it's just going to be a really fast engine option for the Dart, but you'll be able to get a 300 horsepower Dodge Dart, which is very good news. We previously heard that this rumored SRT4 version of the Dart was going to have all-wheel drive. Since the SRT version isn't happening anymore, I'm assuming this is still just going to be a front-wheel drive offering, which would be pretty crazy. All-wheel drive would have been awesome, but front-wheel drive could still be very fun as well. There's also rumors of them coming out with an RT version and a GLH model, which is kind of harkening back to the Carroll Shelby days of Dodge. And who knows about all that, but that's all the Dodge stuff. All kinds of good news. So, Jeep. Now, we've heard that it's already been confirmed that the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, which is the Hellcat-powered Jeep Cherokee, is coming. And it was announced at this convention that it's definitely confirmed it's going to have all-wheel drive and a Hellcat V8. People there said that they were claiming that it's going to do 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. So we're talking about a Jeep Grand Cherokee Hellcat motor that's going to keep up with Lamborghinis all day. Crazy. Another dealership claimed it was 3.5 seconds 0 to 60, still stupidly fast. But yeah, so like I said, the reports kind of vary a little bit here from this convention. Another thing is, you know, the Grand Wagoneer, which is the long Land Rover kind of fighting thing that they are planning on coming out with. They said that that also was going to come out in the next 24 months. So that's cool, because we originally heard it was going to be a little farther off, so now it's looking like they're bringing that up sooner, and so that's cool. Other cool stuff is the new Wrangler was shown there apparently, and it's going to be sold as a 2017 model. They said it's going to have 30 miles per gallon, assume on the highway, I'm guessing, but so they said that that could be a diesel model, which is one of the things they're planning, I believe. Also, they mentioned a Jeep Wrangler pickup truck, but it wasn't actually shown. Now, if how the Chevy Colorado has renewed interest in midsize and compact pickup trucks, this could very well be a good option and something that they're seriously considering, but they didn't actually show anything. They just mentioned the idea there at the convention. Other stuff is that there was new images shown of a redone Dodge Ram, and they said that it looked neat. That's what the dealer said. It looked neat. Not sure what that means. They also said there's a new Power Wagon that's on the way, and it's going to have 37-inch rubber. It's going to be pretty crazy. They said it was on stage, and they said it's going to be more focused than the current Power Wagon that's on the market. So I'm guessing more aggressive. And from the Italian side of FCA, Fiat, apparently both the regular and the Abarth versions of the Miata-based Fiat 124 were shown, which is awesome. I'm so jealous. I really wish I could see that car in person myself. But yes, this confirms they're doing a regular and they're doing an Abarth, which I've been reporting on for the past couple months here. So that is happening, and I'm so excited for that car. Other stuff. Alfa Romeo, as I already talked about before, they're getting their own SUV. It's coming in 2016, and it was on display for the dealers to see, so that's ready to go. Also, they said that the Alfa Romeo Giulia was in attendance as well, which we've already seen, of course. So that's it as far as all the Fiat Chrysler news. They got one really exciting lineup, and all this awesome stuff is coming out in the next 12 to 24 months. So in the next year or two, all this stuff will be available for purchase, which is awesome. I am so excited for all this stuff. So sounds like a great direction to me. All right, so on to other news. You know how Holden is going to be killed off here, sadly, at the end of 2017 by General Motors. And there's rumors here there's going to be one last version of the Holden Commodore, which is the awesome Chevrolet SS that I've been recently driving, and that this version of the Commodore is going to have the last version of it is going to be limited, they're guessing, to around 200 units. It's going to be very expensive, but here's the best part. It's going to have the 638 horsepower supercharged V8 engine out of the Corvette ZR1, which would be epic and the fastest Australian car they said they've ever produced, which is awesome. And so fingers crossed that actually happens. That's awesome. And you know, the Holden Commodore is an epic car, and I think it deserves one last big hurrah. And so hopefully they give them that. Another Australian-based kind of car is the Ranger that still has lived on in Australia and in the rest of Europe and other places around the world. We don't get the Ranger here anymore, of course, but because, again, of how the Chevrolet Colorado has revived the mid-size pickup truck market, Ford is really considering bringing back the Ranger, and they said that they're moving the Focus and C-Max production out of Michigan, and so they have free space to produce a new car, and so they're thinking about bringing back the Ranger. They said that instead of doing the current Ranger that's available overseas, which is a larger, almost F-150 size vehicle, they said they were considering doing something that's really compact. It's actually the size of the old Ranger. That's a really, really high miles per gallon truck. That's also a good $5,000 or $6,000 less than the F-150. And I think that's great. I mean, everything's blowing up and getting so large these days. I think going back to basics with a small little beater pickup truck that people need, I think that's a really good idea. So hopefully that happens, and so we'll just have to wait and see. Other Ford news from overseas is that there's an official infographic thing that was posted by the Ford Mustang crew that shows the breakdown for everyone that's ordered a Mustang in the UK. And funny thing is, in the UK, they actually opted for the V8 version more than the Americans did. So in America here, the EcoBoost is actually very, very popular. And I think it's currently actually the sales leader out of all the Mustangs. But in the UK, that is not the case. The V8 leads by a wide margin. So there's a whole breakdown here you can see, but basically it says 80% of the cars ordered are fastbacks, 70% of them have the V8 engine, and 30% are going for the EcoBoost. There is no V6 available in the UK. It's just the EcoBoost or the V8. And so 70% of people are going for the V8. Even better news is, you think European cars are the ones that want to get rid of all the manuals, but actually it's looking like it says 60% are going for the manual with 40% going for the automatic. So that's cool to see as well. And also the most popular color is race red, and that totally makes sense as well. So awesome to see that. And I think a lot of this is that there's a lot of diehard Mustang fans in the UK that couldn't get them for the longest time, and now that they're finally available, they're just going crazy and getting the most powerful version possible. And so that makes complete sense to me. But that's very cool to see. Other Mustang news is that the first 2016 Shelby GT350 rolled off the line in Flat Rock, Michigan this past week. And so this starts the saga for the most epic sounding V8 that's naturally aspirated that I've heard in a long time. And yeah, so very awesome to see that they're making those. And yeah, so look out for that glorious sounding V8 on streets near you very soon. Other pony car news is that the 2016 Chevrolet Camaro was officially priced this past week. It starts at $26,695 for the 4-cylinder base model, which is very competitive with the $26,000 or so price tag on the EcoBoost Mustang. But the real kicker is there's a large price increase for the new V8 SS version. It's now $37,295, which is a big jump from the $34,500 for the previous generation. And when you consider that you can get a base V8 Mustang GT for around $32,000, that's a big difference of about $5,000. So only time will tell. I mean, obviously the Camaro is faster. It has more horsepower than the Mustang GT, but still very interesting to see that price point on the SS for me. But I'm sure it'll sell great, and looking forward to driving one day. Other news is Jaguar revealed more details about the FPace SUV. Now, this is going to be quite the handler. They said it's going to have a suspension setup and all-wheel drive system that's slightly borrowed from the F-Type. They also said it's going to have F-Type brakes. So they said this is going to be a really aggressive, performance kind of SUV. But then again, I mean, the F-Type is a lot smaller of a vehicle than the F-Pace, so putting F-Type stuff on the F-Pace doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be amazing. But I'm interested to see how it actually does, and we should be seeing these next year, so hopefully we'll see the final version and all the details soon. And this past week, the 2016 Toyota Prius was caught completely uncovered and looks just as hideous as I suspected it would look. I mean, I know looks are subjective. I don't know about you guys, but that does not look very good to me. But that is it, and so that is the new Prius. Speaking of hybrid vehicles, it was recently spied the new Hyundai Prius Fighter that they said is going to be based on the Hyundai Elantra platform, and there could be an all-electric version of it as well. Other Hyundai news is they debuted the N2025 Vision Gran Turismo concept, which is again another car strictly for the video game. It's going to be coming to Frankfurt though. They're going to actually build, I guess, a concept car version of it. And so we just see a few teaser images here of what it looks like. It's obviously going to be insane and never going to be made, but it's a cool glimpse into how the designers like to fantasize about the future. Other Hyundai news, the next generation Hyundai Equus was spied testing and looks pretty good, pretty conservative there in the front from what we can tell. Very heavily camouflaged still though, so not sure about too many of the details, but we know it's going to have a V8 because that's what this car was equipped with apparently. And yeah, so interested to see more. Other cars that were spied, the Volvo S90 that's going to be debuted sometime this year was just spied running around here. We just have 3 spy shots of it real quick. It looks a lot like the XC90 in the front there, and I think overall it's going to probably be a great looking car, and very excited to see what Volvo has in store for the S90. And Mercedes was spied this week testing a Maybach version of the E-Class, which we've heard they're going to be doing, and now we see it, and that's very cool that they're offering a Maybach version of the E-Class as well. And lastly, Volkswagen has delayed production of the new Phaeton sedan that they were going to be bringing back, but considering that the last one wasn't a hot seller, they're going to try and find a way to make this one a little bit cheaper and build it for less money than before. So that's interesting to see. And yeah, so that's it for all the news this week, guys. So I'll send it back to me in the car. All right, so I'll leave you guys with a nice little acceleration here, like I always do. And a little wheel spin for fun. It's quick. Oh, I missed this thing. Alright, so anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week. Take care.